After a 4-hour break, we are back at the largest and finest high school field house in the world, that being Newcastle, Indiana, for the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic here on ISC and Comcast 81. As our consolation game, two teams that suffered a couple of rough losses earlier today against fantastic competition. The Knights of Mishawaka Marian as they take on the Trojans of East Central. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Thrilled to be joined by former Purdue basketball player and these days the head coach at West Lafayette, Jane Schott. Jane, it's always a pleasure to talk some basketball with you, especially here at this setting. And the first thing I'll ask you as a coach is, all right, you've got either 4 hours or 6 hours trying to recover from a pretty tough loss. As a coach, how do you get your players to bounce back so quickly?
You know, that's a gut check time for your team, and it's really what you want to be presented with at some point in your season. Maybe not in this venue. They're probably not happy that it happened here, but at the same time, they get an opportunity to see if they can bounce back and see what their team's made of. Within a game, these kinds of things happen to a team. Adversity, toughness, all of those things, you have to bring it tonight. So this is going to be a really good challenge for both teams.
If you're East Central, you're going to see another team that plays zone in Mishawaka Marian, but nowhere near like what Noblesville played with that trapping 1-3-1 that was a three-quarter court pressure. The way that Marian defends you differently than Noblesville, what does that mean for Kevin Moore's team?
Well, I think he's probably excited that, you know, they really had a great start and then they had trouble getting across, getting shots, and so he really wants to get his team refocused into, hey, let's score the basketball like we're used to, and they should be able to do that against the pressure because it isn't going to be as what they saw with Noblesville.
On the flip side for East Central, again, they're going to guard you hard like Bedford North Lawrence did. I don't know if they're going to get in your jersey and switch as much as BNL did this morning. What does that mean for Mishawaka Marian offensively?
Well, we would expect Nevaeh to have a bigger game than she did this morning because she's going to be a little more free to show what she can showcase offensively.
Mishawaka Marian, 12 of 51 from the floor in the morning game. 1 of 20 from three-point range. They were beaten 59-28 by Bedford North Lawrence, and they were fighting uphill the entire game. It was 15-2 after the first quarter and really never got closer than 10 from that point in time on. Nevaeh Foster, 14. Aaliyah Hirschberger, 9. Shayla Alexander, 4. Krista Porter, 1. That's it. Now, because that game got lopsided, Mishawaka Marian brought in some of their subs late, but really, for Coach Stone, this is a 6-player rotation. And again, you're trying to hope you get to this level, which is now the semi-state round, where you're going to play twice on a Saturday. So how does your game plan change, if at all, when you have a short rotation like Mishawaka Marian
Now
does?
you may see him bring in a sub or two earlier just to give the people that second blow, you know, kind of give them their legs back and so they can make it all the way through the game. But, you know, it's adrenaline. They're young kids. You know, you got to find that second gear and you got to play. It's game time.
By the way, our 3 officials being recognized at center court, Julie Calvert, Tyron DeBenning, and Carmen Hawk, our all-female officiating crew for this consolation game at 6 o'clock. And again, to show you just how different this is, you officiate a game in this event, you get a plaque for it. As we referenced earlier, for those that maybe weren't watching in the morning session, while there are many other great holiday events, we've got 3 of them going right now on the ISC Sports Network. This is the only one where you get extra games in your schedule for playing in it. You get to play as many as 24 regular season games when this is the case. And you can also play in this event only once every 4 years, which makes it special. Time now for our starting lineups. They are presented by virtual announcer and Aaron Pittman. Make your game day experience the absolute best by hiring Aaron. And if he can't be there, he'll be your virtual announcer. And that's for any sport, not just hoops. Find out more on just how affordable it can be at Virtual Announce on social or by giving Aaron a call at 317-800-0612. Mishawaka Marian as the visiting team in this game. Krista Porter starting at 1 forward, a 5'9 sophomore, 5 points, 8 rebounds a game. Shayla Alexander, a 5'10 senior, 10 points, 5.5 boards, and 3 assists a game. Grace O'Hara, a 5'5 senior, 3 points and 2.5 boards a contest. Aaliyah Hirschberger, a 5'6 senior, 11.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and a 35% three-point shooter. And Nevaeh Foster, 5'9 senior, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. I think Clark Kellogg would refer to her as a stat sheet stuffer. 54% from the floor, 37% from three-point range. Now, on the flip side, for Kevin Moore and the Trojans of East Central, Josie Trable is their leading scorer on the season. She's going to attend Wofford University in the Southern Conference next year. 6 foot senior, 21.5 points, 9 rebounds a game, 3.5 assists a contest, 55% from the floor. Lainey Baker is her running mate and was the leading scorer this morning. Lainey had 17 points. She averages 13 a game. She's a 5'9" senior. Chips in 3.5 boards and 3.5 assists a contest. Caitlin Dick, a 5'2" senior, didn't score this morning. 7.5 points and a couple of rebounds per contest. Emily Clem, a 5'9" sophomore, averages 7 points and 4 rebounds a game. And Addie Arnold had one of her better games of the season. She averages 1.5 points a game. She had 3 threes today and 9 points against Mishawaka Marian. Coach, your final thought before this one tips off?
I think this is going to be a super competitive game. Very excited to see these two teams bounce back, and I know they got great coaches on both sidelines, so we'll see what they bring.
East Central checks in at 11-6 on the season. Well, they suffered a 4-game losing streak in November. They came out blazing in the opening quarter against Noblesville, led 18-10. Things went sideways quickly. They were outscored 20-2 in the second quarter and never threatened in half number 2. And unfortunately, they ended up committing 27 turnovers in their morning game. And you got to hear both coaches on both sidelines shouting out instructions, trying to give you that in-the-gym feeling. Nice feed, better block by Foster. Second attempt does not go, missed by Clem, and eventually it is Alexander out of there with it for Mishawaka Marian. Mishawaka Marian in 3A, East Central in 4A. East Central made the regional final last year. That's going to be steps called. So the turnover committed by Mishawaka Marian.
Little ball screen with the handoff there. Good idea, but just kind of a little overzealous on the steps, and that negated the basket.
13 turnovers. Turnovers not as big of a factor for Mishawaka Marian, just couldn't buy a bucket against Bedford North Lawrence.
Little full court pressure by Marian. They're 1-2-2, just trying to keep East Central off balance.
And steps are going to be called as Clem just kind of kept waiting for the defense to arrive and really never did.
He was faking to try to get him up in the air, and they did not go.
And again, Trable is more of a face-up player, but you wonder maybe if she might go back to underneath the basket against this zone of Mishawaka Marian.
She may. She's got some size, and she can score an inside and out.
Yeah, she's the tallest player on the floor in tonight's game at 6 feet tall.
Right now they're trying to check. You can see, Nevaeh Foster just gets all kinds of attention from whoever is guarding her, and right now they're face guarding her.
Let's put it this way. There are no help side responsibilities for Addie Arnold.
Oh, that's right.
She is just going to, if Foster goes up the stairs, she'll go right with her.
That's right.
There's Baker. Again, 17 for Baker. That included numerous three-point baskets for Baker. And there is Trable on the low block, so thought that might be an advantage to them as the game went along. Didn't get the look to go. Trable, a potential Indiana All-Star. Foster, you'd say the same thing, and gets the runner to go.
Tough shot. Little runner in the lane for Foster. She's going to her left, but shoots it with her right hand. That is very athletic.
Oh, so Foster gets the opening bucket of the game, some 2 minutes in.
Three-guard baseline. Three-guard baseline.
I love the first couple of minutes of any game because there's just kind of jockeying, adjusting, seeing what the other team's going to do defensively, and you trying to counter offensively.
This really is a kind of a 2-1-2 half-court zone that Mishawaka Marian plays.
Yeah, you'll see right there, Krista Porter drops down. She'll play the high post, but she's dropping down right now to play Trable inside.
Trable, good feed, and the basket is there. So that is Emily Clem. Clem had 2 points in the morning game. Sophomore averages 6.5 a contest.
Well, you can see the attention that Trable gathers when she catches the ball in the post. She had 3 knights around her, so she's able to dish that off.
Foster stepped through, and could have been a travel, could have been a foul. It was neither. We play on.
Yeah, that's one of those where sometimes a 50-50 call. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. Maybe they felt like she was falling before she actually got tripped.
Now we'll see a possession of man-to-man here by Mishawaka Marian. It was virtually all zone against Bedford North Lawrence earlier.
Yeah.
And that'll be a foul on Nevaeh Foster. By the way, we'll be tracking the record book for Nevaeh Foster. As that 3 is up and good by Baker. So Baker, again, she was the bright spot offensively for East Central this morning.
Little design play on the sideline for her just to get free. Really nicely done. That screen was set for her for a great spot.
There's Porter. Player slips, which gives a open look from 3 by Foster.
Nevaeh Foster showing that range. Holy cow, she was 5 feet behind the line, I'd say.
37% three-point shooter. Did not hit one this morning. So now let's set this up with the pause. The next basket that Foster scores will make her the all-time leading scorer in boys or girls history at Mishawaka Marian. And the current record holder is Demetrius Jackson, who, of course, played at Notre Dame and would get some looks in the NBA. They're going to get Alexander for a clear out and trying to set up the underneath out-of-bounds play. Both teams now with 2 turnovers.
Alexander sets the screen and she rolls open. And I honestly was blocked off, so I did not see the grab around. She got a nice look at the basket and they had to wave it off.
Little 1-2-2 three-quarter court pressure here by Marian. Baker breaks through with no problem. 3 in the corner. No, and Trable couldn't track down the weak side glass. So here is Foster. Alexander lets fire, and that does not go. She had a tough time finding the rhythm and range offensively this morning as well for Mishawaka.
Go get it!
Trable, 3, no. Fight for the loose ball, and O'Hara out of there with it eventually. Hirschberger was by her lonesome for a second, but couldn't be found. Third Mishawaka Marian turnover.
Well, East Central's defense, handsy, very handsy. They're always active, and it's very difficult to pass over top. That's what O'Hara tried to do and couldn't get the pass to go through.
After a couple of lopsided games earlier, you feel like pretty even matchups between these two teams here in the Consolation and Championship game.
Little different styles, which is kind of fun.
Baker on the basket cut. It's Clem then that gets the bucket. She has topped her scoring output from the first game already.
Right now they're finding their way in that weak side of the zone. She's gotten a couple of baskets down low.
Foster's runner does not go. And Trable didn't have double-digit points, but she had double-digit rebounds in the early game. Baker never realized that O'Hara was right behind her. Third Trojan turnover. Alexander runs the floor and gets rewarded.
That turnover, both teams are kind of trying to catch their second win. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Both are looking a little bit ragged. That was kind of a little bit of a cherry pick, but not really on purpose. Just didn't get down the floor quick.
3 in the corner. Shot for Caitlin Dick does not go, and the rebound eventually tracked down by Hirschberger. And a reach-in foul going to be called against East Central. Well, you mentioned the fact that both teams might be looking for the oxygen if offered. While East Central had a bit of a deeper rotation, played 7 or 8 this morning, they also felt they were playing against 7 players. That's just how swarming Noblesville was on defense.
Yeah, they're long, Noblesville long, and we'll get to see that 1-3-1 again here in the second game. They play it very well.
So Gruber into the game for the first time. 5'11 junior, did not score in the morning game. Going to try to post up here. And again, Trable can match her step for step in the low block and knock that ball free. Now Porter, after a brief break, will check back in. Going to replace O'Hara.
Yeah, just giving her a chance to catch her breath, get your mentality right. Coach has got a couple instructions for her, and she comes right back in.
3 in the corner by Hirschberger. That does not go, and they're going to call a foul on the block out against Anna Black.
It's kind of interesting. They're trying to cut down on that holding call. That's the second time they've called that foul.
Screen, Shayla, screen.
Hirschberger with the lone made 3 this morning. And now an offensive foul is going to be called against Alexander, which will be her second. And again, for Mishawaka Marian,
it's a big foul.
They just don't have the depth. That's tough when you use one of your best players.
They got her for just sliding a little bit, maybe didn't get her feet set, whatever. The hard part is, Greg, it was right in front of the official.
Right.
Nothing else was going on. You might be able to get away with that another time.
Trable gets to Baker, but could not convert from short distance. Hustle in passing lanes. Porter able to save the possession for the Knights. Mishawaka Marian, a school that you just kind of assume is going to be good in almost every sport these days. Frequently see them in the state finals in soccer. Their boys basketball team, the 3A runners-up last year. Steal here, and those long strides of Trable beats everybody else down the floor, and she gets her first bucket of the game.
Josie Trable showing a little bit of her athleticism, pushes it out and gets down the floor in about 4 dribbles. That was impressive.
She played for the Junior All-Stars this past summer. East Central has become a perennial power in the southern half of 4A. 3 by Hirschberger. High arcing shot that does not go, but Porter keeps it alive. Let's take a second try. That one was wide left. And good job to battle for that loose ball by Arnold. Trable can knock that 3-point shot down, which is why Foster got to her immediately.
Surprised Trable didn't take it at her. With Foster having 1 foul, it would be difficult.
That point might be brought up in the next huddle.
Yep.
See if the Trojans might think about holding for a final look here in the quarter. Point guard needs a little help, but there's no count being applied. Because Porter was not going to venture that far outside of the 3-point arc.
They were trying to get a little back screen for Trable, but Nevaeh Foster did a nice job of getting over top of that screen.
The closing seconds, and Trable recognizes. Baker at 2. Trable from the logo. No, but she's got that level of range for East Central. So, a quarter into this consolation game. 9-7, East Central leads. We're back after this quick timeout as you're watching the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
the home of Hoosiers,
where legends live.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
a giant field house
and basketball courts in every park.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
family
and friends
and team
and fans.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
memories
and history
and future
and hope.
Basketball
lives here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
You know, sometimes broadcasters have stats off the top of their head. Sometimes they try to figure them out as they're going along. I'm kind of scrolling through previous seasons for Mishawaka Marian. They have run into the eventual Northern representative or state champion in 3A 5 years running in their postseason path. They're thrilled that South Bend, Washington is now 4A and don't have to worry about them this year. So says another Northern 3A coach, and Jane Schott. Greg Rakestraw with you. Mishawaka Marian, the lone 3A school, playing on the girls' side of this event. Trable lets the defense roll by and gets the bucket to go. Trable's got 4.
She has made that pass 3 times in a row, so they really went for that because she faked like she was going to pass it, then went up for the shot. Very well done.
By the way, Alexander will check back in with 2 fouls for the Knights when given the opportunity. And when the game was kind of being played in its most competitive stages this morning, Marian played just 6.
Right now, East Central's defense has been pretty stingy. They're not letting anything in the lane, so we'll see if these screens that Mishawaka Marian trying to set free them up.
Good job to play the passing lanes by Baker. 6th Marian turnover. Trable, Baker, bucket.
Josie Trable is so unselfish. She pushed through to get a lane for herself. When the defense came, she ditched it off. Great job.
Those are in my chair tend to ask questions like, hey, you're a point guard, you're a 2 guard, you're a 3 guard. Coach goes, she's a ball player.
She's a player.
So I understand
That's
that.
right.
What do you see her skill set translating, kind of playing at that mid-major Division I level next year?
Well, the one thing that's nice about her, as there's a 3.
Hirschberger, the triple.
I would say she's somebody that She probably is not going to play the point guard, but she'd be a great 2-3 combo
Yep.
guard because she can shoot it, she can handle it. She'd be somebody you'd post up if a smaller guard gets on her.
Baker with the run. I'm not sure there are many 6'2" guards in the Southern Conference.
Not in that conference, no. I mean, that's that's a little more Big Ten level. You see it all the time, but she's somebody that I think she's going to have a terrific career there.
This is my partner who serves as the analyst for Purdue women's basketball when given the opportunity. Ruber, left hand, good look that would not fall, and Trable again racking up the rebounds, and again she can get the board, lead the break, and finish the break as well. And here comes a timeout for Mishawaka Marian. So it's a 7-point lead for East Central. It is a full timeout. We will keep it right here with 5:35 to play in the second quarter. Today's game presented in part by our good friends at the Hoosier Shooting Academy. Combine cutting-edge technology with old-school work ethic to make your game better at the Hoosier Shooting Academy. Go see Paul at 465 in Brookville Road on Indy's southeast side, and always online at HoosierShooting.net. And this Mishawaka Marian team 20-6 last year. Just happened to run into South Bend, Washington, and the Reynolds family reunion in the section of the last 2 years. So let's go back the year before that. Mishawaka Marian was 22-6. They won their sectional. They played Northwood, who would go on to win the 3A championship in the regional. The year before that, the 2 years prior to that, they lost to Northwestern in the regional round, the law firm of Layden and Bostic back in those times. And then the year before that, it was South Bend St. Joseph, who of course has made many trips downstate. Mishawaka Marian's been good. They think this might be their breakout season.
Yeah, I think that's something, part of it's your path, but they've paid their dues. They've been right there every year. You can see how well coached they are. They compete, and they've got a great player in Nevaeh Foster. So they've got a lot of the pieces in place.
Here's Foster. And again, Foster's next bucket will be a record-setting bucket.
East Central right now in the middle of a 10-3 run that's pushed their lead out against the Knights. So we'll see if the Knights have got a response right now.
So here's Alexander. Three-pointer for O'Hara, no good. Ensinger with the rebound, just checked in. Played this morning but did not score. Then Baker's shot.
Straight up, straight up.
The runner by Foster is good. Now, I'm going to move the motivational carrot. There was more counting of fingers and toes. Needs a few more points.
Okay, few more. That little runner, beautiful though. She didn't have to take it into Josie Trable. She just pulls up from the free throw line.
Trable. One-woman offense there for East Central. Good look that did not go down. So back to a 5-point game. Three in the corner by Hirschberger. Does not go. And the rebound corralled in East Central. And again, not surprisingly, as you get deeper in the day, you go into your bench quicker.
Get down there,
Most
Bailey.
definitely.
When you're playing your
Out wide,
second
Eddie.
go-around. Nevaeh Tudor. She played briefly in the second game. The step back by Trable is good, and with her size and her skill set, I'm not sure how you guard that shot at the high school level.
I don't think you do. I think they're going to have to do some kind of double down. If they get Trable in the post, you got to double down and make somebody else beat you from outside.
Keep it up. Talk to her, Laney. Go to her.
Trable needing a outlet there.
You ready to shoot, Addie? Toe it.
Now she and Baker have 15 of the 19 so far for East Central as Baker misses on the runner. Alexander gets downhill, but again, Trable waiting on her. Good hustle by Porter.
Trable didn't block that shot, but she definitely affected it. And then Porter does a terrific job of just staying with the play. You just got to keep pursuing. It's very difficult at this point because you're tired from the earlier game. And so for her to get in there and get that offensive rebound, terrific effort.
So Porter connects. She was 1 of 2 from the line this morning. Let's thank our friends at Visit Henry County. In fact, they are set up just across the way from us here at the Fieldhouse in Newcastle. Fans, you can take your shot in Henry County. Basketball destinations and so much more. Visit hoopsandhenry.com for trip planning ideas. So Porter to shoot one. And makes them both. She's a 53% shooter on the season. averaging 5 points and 8 rebounds a game.
Well, they started with Foster on Trable, but now they've switched it up and Porter's guarding Trable. Maybe because she posted up a little bit, also because Foster's got that one foul. They're switching on that now.
Get it there, Bailey.
Now you wonder if now the inverse happens, if Trable kind of pops back out. Alexander had it, just couldn't hang on to it.
Well, they switched on that, so then it was Alexander. She fronted the post, and they actually had a decent look for Trable if they could have made a better pass on that high-low look for the lob, but just passed it a little short. Couldn't get it to go through.
Sometimes post passes are a lost art form
It
these
is.
days in
It
basketball. Spot up three by Dick does not go, and Foster, the high dribble. Foster on the step through, got fouled, and Foster will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 on the way up.
You talk about that post passing. Part of that is, you look how the game has changed, and a lot of dribble drive. There is a lot less back to the basket, post moves, post players like that. We're going to see one here, a couple in the next game. But because of that, kids don't grow up passing in the post, and so you have to drill it, you have to teach it, and it's still a tough art.
This game I did earlier at the Sneakers for Santa shootout had Brownsburg and Crown Point, the rematch of the 4A title game from 2 years ago. Brownsburg has Avery Gordon as a post at 6'6", and I was equally impressed with her footwork as I was Brownsburg's ability to get her the basketball.
Yep, and they've worked on that. They had to have, because it is obvious. It was very good.
Debbie Smiley, their head coach at Brownsburg. Turnover committed by East Central, unofficially their 4th.
I'm impressed with Trable's leadership as well. She's, kid just dribbled it off her foot out of bounds, going down the floor. She gives her 5, says, let's go. Those kinds of little intangible things are what make, not only a player, but a team.
Starting 5 on the floor. Foster, line drives that one up and no good. And Trable, rebound and then lead the break. It's offense for East Central. Almost as read and react to what Trable will do, and then you get in your half-court set.
Yep, and they're setting some ball screens for her. Now they're going to get some cutting going on. This looks like a little bit more of a motion offense that they do on a regular basis.
Trable, good turn, and off the window and scores it.
Most of that offense was just designed to get the defense moving, so Trable's got an opportunity to get the basket.
Reference this in the morning session. She is the second likely Indiana All-Star to head to Wofford in the last years, Lily Hatton of North Harrison being the other. But I think Wofford is getting a heck of a player in Trable.
Get in it.
The 3, good again. Her first made 3 of this game. She's got 13, and simply put, she is a matchup nightmare for any team.
Yeah, they've put a post player on her because she started posting up, and now she's heating up from the outside.
Alexander got fouled on the shot. Emily Clem, the guilty party, and Shayla Alexander will shoot 2. Alexander did not attempt a free throw in the morning session. 79% from the line on the year. So Alexander connects on the free throw. Today's game presented by ADP and Anthony Bennett. Did you know that ADP pays 1 in 6 Americans? And did you know that if you mention ISC, you get the full range of ADP services free for 3 months? That's right. ISC and ADP have partnered to help your small business, and it's free for 3. Call Anthony Bennett at 317-427-8249 or email anthony.bennett@adp.com and mention ISC.
Shayla Alexander picks up both free throws. Nice job. And she was playing with those 2 fouls, Greg, so it was good that she played a stint without getting that 3rd one.
Looking for the seal to Trable. No need to even bring it down.
That's a tough one, too, because you don't have time to scout as much for that second game, and that was obviously a design play against Mishawaka Marian's defense for that lob for Trable.
Especially when you're playing a team from 3.5 hours away, from literally the other end of the state. I know Mishawaka Marian stayed and watched the second game. Porter, not usually in her arsenal. And let's see now if East Central will try to hold for 1.
Right here.
Trable content to pass it to Baker and find a teammate.
Come up, Joe.
The clock is on your screen. I think this movement started about the 7 or 8 second mark.
Get it.
Ball's going to have to go up.
Yes.
Baker, not in time. Just a little delayed that time was East Central, but again, largely, you'll take that effort from half number 1 to the Trojans of East Central. Our score in this consolation game, Trojans 26, Mishawaka Marian's Knights 18. Stay tuned, a special guest will join us next as you're watching the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic here on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
A giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball.
Lives here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
Back for the evening session here in Newcastle. It is halftime of the consolation game with East Central leading Mishawaka Marian by a score of 26-18. Jane Schott rejoins us coming up here in a few moments, but I am now joined by a gentleman you saw patrolling NFL sidelines for nearly 3 decades, officiating high school basketball games for more than 4, and is finishing up a 2-year term as the president of the board of directors for the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. It is Mark Baltz. Baltzy, it is always good to be with you, and what are these 2 days like for you here in Newcastle?
Well, as you well know, Greg, now that you're involved with the Hall of Fame, these are 2 real busy days for the Hall, having the Girls Classic today and the Boys Classic tomorrow. 4 great games each day with some of the best in the state of Indiana. There's great holiday tournaments going on all over the state, but we take a lot of pride in our Hall of Fame Classic, and I think we got some great matchups.
It seems like you just began your tenure as the president of the board of directors, and it's about to wrap coming up this spring. Just how fast have these 18 months flown by so far?
Boy, they really have. I told my wife that the other day. It seems like I just got started, because right after I got started, you know, our dear friend Chris May resigned. We had to replace him. We started a remodeling project. We started a renovation project, which is going to begin in the spring, of a huge expansion of the Hall of Fame to get a lot more memorabilia out there. You know, too, as being on the board now, which we greatly appreciate, plus the ISC involvement, that there's never a dull minute here, and time really does go by fast.
It is very easy in a project like this to just open the doors and say, here, the Hall of Fame's open, come visit us. You and some other people with the board of directors, the day-to-day operations, go out and try to have outreach, whether it's golf outings, events like this, the banquets in March or April. This is not a one location and 1 month a year job.
No, it really isn't. We're all over the place, like you said. With the expansion, we actually have more memorabilia in storage than we do have on display. So the expansion is desperately needed and has been for ever since the 30 years they've been here. We've needed more space. We're finally going to get it. We're all excited about it. But yeah, we're all over trying to promote. We've got North, Central, and South regional vice presidents now. We're spreading our wings. We've got more employees in the office, reaching out all over the state to really sell the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame.
Well, once we get through tomorrow's activities with the boys' 4 games here in Newcastle, I know then your attention turns to the banquets. Of course, the men's banquet on Wednesday, March 22nd. The women's banquet would be on April 29th, both at Primo Banquet Hall on the south side of Indianapolis. What are the next 2 or 3 months like for you in preparation for those 2 big nights?
Well, we have to prepare, like you said, for the banquet. We've got to get the ticket sales out. We have a tremendous publication, memorable booklet that we hand out at both events.
I love seeing it every time I'm there too.
And there's a ton of work that goes into those publications, getting all the records and stats on all the honorees between the silver anniversary teams and the inductees, both living and deceased, plus our Center Circle Officials Awards. and everybody that we honor on that long night, which you're a big part of yourself as the MC, and we greatly appreciate that too. But there's a lot of prep work that goes into getting ready for both of those events.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this, again, given the intro that I led up to you as being an official with the Circle Center Officials Award, honoring officials both in girls and boys high school basketball. To have that reference, that name, that tie to the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, as a guy who spent so many nights of his life in a high school gymnasium across the state, what's it like for the Hall of Fame to recognize officials?
Oh, I think it's tremendous, particularly in the state of Indiana. I'm not from Indiana, as you know, but I came here, I got involved in this organization, and it's tremendous. And I was fortunate enough to be recognized back in 2013 as the Center Circle Official of the Year. And it's just a tremendous honor that any official would really covet to have.
I think we've adopted you as a Hoosier at this point. If not, you're a quality free agent pickup all of those years ago, and you're a great friend. Mark, thank you for the time, and enjoy the rest of the next couple of days.
Keep up the good work, buddy. Enjoy it.
You got it. Mark Baltz from the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame, kind enough to join us. Again, basketball does live here at Henry County and year-round in the Indiana Basketball Hall of Fame. Jane Schott rejoins us next. Again, our score at halftime of this consolation game, 26-18. East Central leading Mishawaka Marian. Back in a moment on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
Where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
a giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball
Lives here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
Jane Schott rejoins us courtside. Greg Rakestraw with you as well on the ISC Sports Network and Comcast 81. Again, our crew, tremendous. Thank you, Jordan Shue. Thank you, Alan Hughes. And I would assume that activity has wrapped up for the day, if not close to it, at North Central. So we can focus on two games taking place simultaneously as Center Grove and South Bend Riley are playing at the Phil Cox Memorial Tournament up in Kokomo. Our focus here on the ladies, 26-18, East Central leads Mishawaka Marian. Jane, your overall impressions of half number one?
Well, we kind of expected a knockdown drag out a little bit because of the fatigue factor. I thought that, East Central did a nice job of getting it going in the second quarter just by getting that inside-outside action. They got some nice looks in the paint, and that freed up some three-pointers from the outside, so that got them rolling. Impressed that Mishawaka Marian didn't fold. They stayed the course. I'd like to see them crank up their pressure a little bit, because I think that, you let East Central get comfortable, and then Josie Trable can go to work if you can make it harder on her. So hopefully they'll do that a little bit in the second half. But I think Nevaeh Foster is poised to get untracked, and then it can be really heated up in the second half.
Since you mentioned Nevaeh Foster, let's kind of revisit that record talk. We had gotten a great note from Chad Nickham saying, hey, Foster at one point was 6 points away from the record, 7% it herself, and then we got an update right before she scored that basket, said, hang on, they did a recount. She's 12 points away from the start of the day, so she is now 3 points away from tying the all-time program record for, again, that's both the boys and girls record. So with that, here's scoring from the first half. Mishawaka Marian, Foster 9, Hirschberger 3, Alexander 4, Porter 2. O'Hara and Gruber both played but did not score. For East Central, Trable 15, 7 for Baker, 4 for Clem. And so far, that's it for this group. Caitlin Dick, Anna Block, Bailey Ensinger, and Nevaeh Tudor have all played, but did not score. The difference, as we see highlights fly by, Coach, the difference in being 1-1 on this day and 0-2 is what for these two teams?
Well, I would say for East Central, they've got to continue to share the basketball like they're doing and not turn it over. That's a big key for them here tonight. For Mishawaka Marian, I like their zone defense, but they went out of that once early on. We'll see if they can kind of slow down that East Central offense. I think the thing for them on offense, I like them in transition. They've got to get out and go a little bit. I like to see Nevaeh Foster continue to try to get to the basket. If you get those things going, all of a sudden it's a different ball game for the Knights.
Foul trouble, minimal. Alexander with 2 fouls, played with those 2 fouls for a good chunk of half number 1. Played most second quarter with 2 fouls, frankly. No player for East Central has more than 1. 5 on the floor for East Central. Clem, Arnold, Dick, Trable, and Baker, their starting 5. And the same for Mishawaka Marian. Foster, Hirschberger, Alexander, Porter, and O'Hara. And they're going to go box and 1.
I was going to say, they're going to mix it up a little bit. I like this because we'll see what they do with Trable. Look, she's getting in right away, tips it out of bounds, goes back to East Central, but just kind of disrupt the flow of their offense. You can't let them be comfortable.
Since we are in Henry County, Grace may be able to tell you Dentine, basically, about Trable, guarding her in the box and 1. That's a Hoosiers reference, kids,
Yes,
for those of you that
that's right.
don't get that, with the Hoosier gym being just a little south and west of our location here. That is a frequent doubleheader when you come visit Henry County. Take in this place, take in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and go shoot hoops in the famous Hoosier gym. 3 in the corner by Arnold. She made 3 of those earlier. That hit the not in use shot clock above the backboard. Out of bounds to Mishawaka Marian.
You can see right away that possession was much more contested. Mishawaka Marian doing a nice job of, and they gave up a shot on the outside, but that's a gamble you're going to take if you're going to slow Trable down.
I'm sure you've had this in years gone by when you have a team throw a box and 1 at you. What do you run offensively against that as Trable gets the block?
Well, I think the one thing is that you don't really go away from your man-to-man sets. I mean, and if you're getting box and 1, the best thing you can do is be a screener. So if Trable can find a way to screen people, they're going to get wide open, and then it's difficult to box her out. That's what I've always seen. A kid gets box and 1, they can up, and there she goes. She gets an offensive rebound, because if you're face guarding her, it's tough to box her out.
So Trable extends a lead to 10 for East Central, their largest lead of this game.
Help! Shooter!
O'Hara, Porter, had a look but turned it down. And Marian will reset. Trable certainly trying to carve out her spot on the all-tournament team, which will be awarded at the conclusion of the second game tonight. Foster, the step back 3, got it. So that's, again, 12. That ties the program record for points scored in a career. Next point means the record is all hers.
Be great for her to get into this historic gym and everybody to celebrate her.
Not many people get that honor in a Hall of Fame game. As Caitlin Dick gets the 3 first points she has scored of the day for the 5'2 senior. Alexander finds a seam and able to get it around Trable. Porter, the putback, does not go, and I think they're going to get Trable for the push and going for the loose ball.
That's a great take by Alexander. I really like that she went aggressively to the basket. She missed the layup, but that's something I think, they're really keying on Foster. I think Mishawaka Marian's got to find another scorer, and Foster could be it, or Alexander could be it.
Alexander, 3rd on their team in points on a per-game basis this year. Just a little more than 10. Has had 4 in the 2 games, as in 4 in the morning session, 4 this evening, and Baker read that like a free safety and picks it off and lays it up and in. Football reference is always good for a school that's won the 4A championship in East Central. 33-21. Porter Plays it through Trable and couldn't get it to go. Baker fires. Not that time. And Foster pushing it back. And now Marian's going to go back, I think, man-to-man here on the inbounds play. Some schools, when they say man-to-man, it's 5. I think for Marian, 1's the call. And now Trable, with O'Hara guarding her, felt she had the advantage down low. Couldn't get the shot to go off the hands of Emily Clem. And it's fun to see not only the skill set that Trable has, but the basketball IQ. She reads immediately, where's my advantage?
Yeah.
That's where I need to go offensively. Alexander, tough shots. Trable hustling for it, but runs out of real estate.
Good pursue by Porter on that offensive rebound. She didn't get it, but she made it so that Trable couldn't get it easily.
And Trable, 8 points in the morning session, but 16 rebounds. She's got 17 points, and she's a couple of shy of a double-double already, and we're midway through the third quarter.
Help, Eddie!
Foster for 3, not that time.
They're back into their 2-3 zone. Just mixing things up. Coach is calling it out, and their team does it on the fly down.
Kaylin Dick misses the three-pointer. Alexander will track it down. Porter on the release. Foster fouled and one. So Foster with 14. And we've got that as a record-setting bucket.
Pretty gritty. She gets the and one on the offensive rebound. Pretty impressive.
2 for 2 from the free throw line and got that one to go as well.
Trying to keep her team in it. You got to stay close. Can't let it get away from you in this quarter.
9-point lead. Trable lets it fly and misses. And Foster grabs the rebound. Rare chance at fast break points for Marian. She'll stop and pop from 14 and get it to go.
Great control from Foster. She has all their points here in this quarter. She stop and pop. She gets the defense just to let them go by, and now they can set their press.
They like to send more of a three-quarter court trap here, Will Marian. Haven't seen much of that today. All of a sudden the seas part and Baker drives it right in. She's got 11. And she and Trable have combined for 28 of the 35. Now a 3 for Alexander is good, and that'll be her first make from distance. A 30-second timeout taken, and we will keep it right here. And Chad Nickum, the fantastic public address announcer, is recognizing Nevaeh Foster's record-setting bucket from just a few moments ago. Congratulations to her, as that puts her over 1,930 career points in her days at Mishawaka Marian. Great job for that young lady.
It's classic, too. I'm watching her face in the huddle when he's talking about that. And she's like shaking her head like, I didn't even know.
What's going on?
What's going on? Trying to win a game, just out here playing. So what a terrific career she's had. I know she's not ready to be done. So obviously she's somebody that scored a lot of points for her team. You talked about all those near misses for them. She's been a huge part of every time they're in that mix and in that hunt for their season. She's just continuing that on.
They've got at least 8 more games to go following this one, and frankly, probably a few more after that. 7 regular season games in the docket left for the Knights. Trable used all of that 6-foot frame to track that down. From the elbow, the jump shot is good. Emily Clem with 6.
Good ball movement that time by the Trojans. They really tried to dribble drive, kick to the open shooter, and Clem was the one.
Hirschberger will pull from the elbow. That is no good. I think a good job on the block out that time by Lainey Baker. Marian has worked themselves back in it. So a 3-possession lead at minimum for East Central. Baker.
Oh my.
What a shot.
You got to get that on a highlight film somewhere. She kind of got bumped a little bit, so she was spinning around and shot it backwards.
Well, in my idea, she was running out of real estate.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of had one option and took it. Lost her no. But Porter on the crash. Couldn't get it to go. Megan Trable will grab the board and lead the break.
Go get it, go get
Open three. No good for Clem. On the hustle play. Caitlin Dick couldn't keep it. That'll be Mishawaka Marian basketball. Gruber will check in, and let's take a look at the acrobatics of Lainey
Drives
Baker.
in the lane off of 1 foot. Little spin over her head. I mean, that's a horse shot right there. She could really go to town with that one.
I rarely get to use pirouettes in a basketball broadcast, but I think it's applicable there.
Good, Bailey.
Foster getting a lot of attention. This is the 3rd defender they've had on her.
Right hand.
Now they're trying Anna Black on her. She's face guarding. You can tell she's not even watching the play.
Relax.
Out the pass to Anna Black. And you heard relax from Kevin Moore on the East Central bench. Hey, don't need to be in a hurry. We got a 10-point lead here.
Well, 10 points with a minute to go, time and score. You know, any other time in the quarter, maybe yes, but right now they're going to go for a layup or the last shot, I would expect.
Baker on the drive, and Lainey Baker will get 2 free throws. Or this might be on the floor, looks like. Yep, they'll say pre-shot. And both teams just 2 team fouls. And it's been a very minimal foul game. Very cleanly played game by these 2 teams. In Bedford North Lawrence and Noblesville to follow. In our championship game, Baker looked for a whistle, didn't get it, and Porter grabs another rebound, and she averages 8 of those a night. Alexander, pocket picked. That'll be a jump ball. Again, you heard timeout from the East Central bench. She never had sole possession of it.
We're going to give her that.
And the arrow.
You talked about Porter's rebounding. You know, the other thing is, Greg, she influences a lot. Even if she plays hard. She's always going to the boards. Even if she doesn't get it, she causes somebody else to miss or whatever. So I'm really impressed by her effort.
Off now. Help.
Alexander fakes a dribble handoff, scoop, and score.
That's a nice play because they think it's coming to Foster and everybody doubles that up and Alexander just goes to the hoop.
Well, she
Well
has
done.
been the partner in crime with Foster. They have combined for 26, the Marian 31. Now again, you would expect East Central to try to hold for a last look. Baker's getting a brief breather on the bench. You would think she would come back in to start quarter number 4 for the Trojans. Which means more than likely this is number 23 on this play for East Central. Trying to get her on the backdoor cut. Set up beautifully and scores it.
Well done, timed perfectly. You thought it was for Trable to go to the basket. She gives it up. You're still overplaying because you don't want her to get it back, and that's where the back door comes.
Just as you would draw it up on the clipboard, we'll show you this one going to break. Trojans lead by 10 going to the 4th quarter on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
Where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
A giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball.
Lives here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.
Look from the baseline camera of Baker's dramatic effort. The no-look bucket by the second leading scorer for the Trojans on the season.
That's kind of fun. She went off 1 foot, got in the lane, just try to make it happen. Actually, pretty good defense. Stopped her from where she wanted to go.
That was basically the third defender that she got to on that play. So 41-31. East Central trying to get a split of their day. Both these teams with some fantastic competition remaining on their schedule. Mishawaka Marian has Lake Central next week. East Central will take on one of the best teams almost in the nation on a regular basis. Mount Notre Dame from Cincinnati is on their schedule next Tuesday. Looks like East Central is going to be content, I wouldn't say going four corner here, but to spread the floor and make Mishawaka Marian come get them.
Yep, they're going to take a little time if they can. When they come and get you, that's when you penetrate.
Arnold knew she missed that one, so she went and got her own rebound. Following your shot isn't as in vogue as it used to be, but Arnold realized it immediately.
She was the first one to know.
Yep. And she knew it was short the one that left her hands. And again, given the fact this is your 8th quarter in the span of about 6 hours, I understand where that's coming from, leaving those jump shots a bit short. Clem on the spin, nothing there. And that's double dribble. Knew she had to get out of the lane and just
kind of panicked a little bit. Mishawaka Marian did a good job of covering up any pass she might have had on the kick out, so she just got stuck.
Free curl. Ball, White. Gotta hear you, White. Hey. Space.
Porter.
Joe, space.
Not going to look for the shot from there. Alexander will, and that one spins out, and Trable collects another rebound.
They had Nevaeh Foster in the post, and I kind of like that because the defender that right now East Central has on her is a little bit smaller, so I think Foster could really post her up.
Foster was 17 to lead Mishawaka Marian. Trable's 19. Getting the honors for East Central. Neither team yet to score here in this 4th quarter, and for East Central, that's perfectly fine. Time is on their side with 6 minutes left to go.
We'll see how long Marian does this, just kind of lets it go.
Trying to find Trable, just let her a bit too far. Back-to-back turnovers now for East Central. Foster, the step through with the left hand, couldn't get it to go, but she tracks down the loose ball and scores it. She's got 19.
Nice play by Foster. Refused the screen because the defense was about to jump over top, and she goes left and gets her own rebound. Very nice.
8-point game. Good find for Trable. Trable fouled on the floor. Just the 3rd foul against Mishawaka Marian. And that'll go against Hirschberger. Should be her first of the game. By the way, Trable does have a double-double. Latest update of the stats. She's sitting on 19 points and 11 rebounds. You can update the point total to 21.
Let's go! Stop! Need one!
Marian's got it back to kind of 7 or 8. That's about as close as they've got in the second half. Foster, good look that wouldn't go. Rebound number 12 for Trable. So back to the man-to-man for Mishawaka Marian. Baker. And early in the game, you take that and not think about it. Now you're
smart.
Starting to drain more of the sands out of the hourglass here if you're East Central. But there's a turnover. And Coach Moore, you can hear him.
Yep.
Not happy about how that played out, and a timeout going to be called by East Central. We will keep it right here. This timeout presented by our friends at Citizens State Bank. If you're looking for a bank that'll put your business first, learn more about Citizens State Bank. They offer a full line of business products, including checking accounts, treasury management products, commercial mortgages, and SBA loans. Visit mycsbin.com or call 888-529-5450 to learn more. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Well, while these two teams are duking it out, let's go ahead and get an early thought on the next game. And what is very rare in terms of Noblesville and Bedford North Lawrence, they're playing for the second time in a week.
Yeah.
Noblesville went to play in Bedford's holiday tournament last week and got a 10-point win. See a lot of similarities between these two teams. Quick thoughts on our upcoming championship game.
Going to be a great matchup in terms of both teams are well coached. Both teams have lots of great scoring and a good defense. It's a toss-up. I know it was a 10-point game earlier, but it wasn't the second game, and so we'll see what happens. I'm excited for that one.
Again, because Noblesville, frankly, is a deeper team than Bedford North Lawrence, but because of how the games played out, both squads kind of caught some breathers for their teams.
Yeah, so we would expect them to be fresh to show their best.
And the team that has maybe the shorter bench did play the first game, a little extra time off their feet.
Yep. Mishawaka Marian doing a little set play right now, but it's really a clear out for Foster, see what she can do.
Hirschberger gets in the lane. O'Hara fires for three. That does not go, and Trable adds that rebound total. Trable kind of lost on the way up, at least collected it to get a shot on the rim, but couldn't get it to go. Foster off the window and scored it.
So those were duplicate plays. Foster took it all the way down, but she finished on the right. Trable misses on that, so Mishawaka Marian cuts in a little bit.
Three in the corner. Good lead pass. Not many block-to-block bounce passes to get away with, but getting that one to go was Arnold. After 9 in the morning session, her first basket of this game.
That's the 34th point in the paint.
Porter with the bucket. Timeout taken by Mishawaka Marian, a 30-second timeout. Again, we always enjoy our time in Henry County. We think you will too. Take your shot at Henry County. Basketball destinations and so much more. Visit hoopsinhenry.com for trip planning ideas.
Looks like both teams have gotten a little bit fatigued here.
Sure.
Look at the last sequence of baskets. The help side defense is slow to get to, the drop down or whatever they needed to happen, and that's resulted in some layups, easy, uncontested baskets for both sides.
This Mishawaka Marian team already own a victory over Penn. That's a big deal. Winning in the Northern Indiana Conference. Again, they've already played South Bend, Washington. Suffered a loss to a good Fort Wayne Northrop team back in December as well. We referenced they're going to go to Lake Central to play next Friday. We're also going to have Carmel come up to Mishawaka Marian and play them in mid-January. And the always tough Northwood program remains on the schedule for Mishawaka Marian. Trable, perfect lead. Lay it up and in, give the assist to Laney Baker.
That was a great pass and a good seal by Trable.
At the other end, shot left short by Alexander again. There's those tired legs. And it's a 10-point lead, partner, with 3 minutes left to play.
Yeah, it's something where it's so hard. You've got to dent into it by picking up your pressure, but you just don't really have the gas.
And East Central being a bit more judicious in terms of their shot selection here. Baker, that's what you want, draws the foul. So Baker to shoot two. In terms of highlights on the schedule left for East Central, we reference Mount Notre Dame coming up on Tuesday. Always a big match when Rushville is on your schedule. Of course, they're an EIAC rival of East Central. Very good Lawrenceburg team that East Central will play out on January the 17th. And oh yeah, Bedford North Lawrence is on their schedule too, because that's been such a frequent regional foe for them over the years, as this one is good. With the re-bracketing of the tournament, they would not see Bedford North Lawrence until a semi-state matchup this year. if both teams can get that far. 3 is good by Alexander. Needed that one, did Marian. She's got a dozen.
They're hanging around.
Yep.
They got to get a stop right here, though. Thought they were going to get it. Foster came and trapped.
And the runner off the window is good. Big bucket by Clem. Clem has stepped up to be that third option for East Central tonight. She's got 8.
Got to have that scoring.
Alexander made one, missed that one, and Baker the rebound. And now it is an 11-point lead with 2 minutes left to go. And Trable. And here's the bad news for Mishawaka Marian, because it's been such a limited foul game. If you're thinking about fouling, you've got to give a couple of more before you get to the bonus.
Really be aggressive right here, especially in the half court, because you have the opportunity to try to go for a steal, and if you get the foul, you get the foul. But gotta be careful. They're lining up for Trable one-on-one in the post.
Just get everybody out of the way.
Yep.
Trable with 25. You could call that a clear out the way that play was set up.
Little bit. She was really careful not to hook on it.
Alexander from the elbow, left it short. Porter is there for the putback.
Mr. Porter just doing the dirty work down for her team every time.
Got baseline.
Yeah, I got to give credit to East Central. Every time Mishawaka Marian has put somebody different on Josie Trable, she's adjusted.
Alexander's pass ripped away by Baker. Baker going to try to win the foot race back and gets the bucket to go. Baker with 17, and the lead is a Baker's dozen with less than 70 seconds to play.
They've when they put the post player on Trable, she stepped out and hit shots.
They're going to get Foster for the travel. There's a step through, there's a Euro, and that is deemed to be a travel on that one. Anna Black will come in. Caitlin Dick will have a seat.
Mishawaka Marian giving everything they got. They're trying to pick up. They're just emptying their tank, trying to do what they can do.
Well, they're playing hard. They're not fouling at this point, so kind of understanding that time and score. And if they're not going to foul, then this becomes a glorified game of keep away at this juncture for East Central.
Well, 13 points down with a minute to go. Fouling isn't going to catch you up, so that's a smart move. And
this game is going to be played in about an hour, which, if you're Mishawaka Marian, you got about a 3-hour drive home. Isn't a bad concept.
Not a bad idea.
East Central not too far away. Down State Road 3 and down I-74. Well, East Central going to go to 12-6 on the season. Mishawaka Marian will suffer their 4th loss of the campaign. Final score in this one, 55-42. East Central will get the consolation victory. Jane, your final thoughts on this one?
Well, hard-fought game by both teams, and we knew that there were going to have to be some adjustments. We got to see 2 great players in Josie Trable and Nevaeh Foster breaking the all-time record for her school is phenomenal.
Nevaeh Foster finishes this game with 21 points. Josie Trable a double-double with 25. Lainey Baker with 17. She has back-to-back games of 17 for East Central in the tournament today. All right, so those of you watching on Comcast 81, stay tuned. We'll have more hoops coming for you next. Again, we think about 25-minute gap or so, maybe 30 minutes because of the rapid pace that this game was played, as Bedford North Lawrence and Noblesville await in our championship game. But temporarily, we say goodbye from Newcastle. East Central, the winner in this one. Thanks for joining us for the Raymond James Hall of Fame Classic on ISC and Comcast 81.
Basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
The home of Hoosiers.
Where legends live.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
A giant field house.
And basketball courts in every park.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Family.
And friends.
And team.
And fans.
basketball in Henry County, Indiana means
Memories.
And history.
And future.
And hope.
Basketball
Lives here.
Basketball lives here in Henry County, Indiana.